I'm black and my family doesn't accept my white boyfriend. What should I do? My oldest brother is very into racial justice. Clearly not if he thinks judging someone by the color of their skin is the way to go on this one. The only thing I've seen that actually fights against prejudice is exposure. If he's a decent guy, they may eventually come around. Just hold your ground and don't let the pressure affect your relationship. There is nothing wrong with your love. Sit your parents down and ask them for advice. Ask them what they recommend you should say to the parents of a boy. Not this boy. A hypothetical future boy, who didn't want their son to date you because of your race. What should you say to those parents? Then, whatever they suggest you say to those hypothetical parents, you say to your parents. Ask your activist brother, whose ideals I'm sure are noble, what racial justice would look like for him long term. Is it segregation? Is it anti-miscegenation laws? That is what he is advocating here. In any case, my heart goes out to you and your beau. Stay loving. Racism is hard to combat, particularly when people don't see what they're doing is wrong. At 17 and only dating a few months, the odds aren't good you'll stick together long term, but time will soften most hearts. How to resolve racial injustice by being a racist? I don't think there is a way. Your family has made it crystal clear how they feel. The only way things might change is if you two make it pretty long term. But that's going to require you two to survive this for a while in the meantime. This sounds like something out of a movie. I'd say your dad and brothers are racist. With that will come anger. If you don't have the type of relationship where you can say, "Hey dad, WFT, that's racist," then you'll just have to wait and let him get over it. Or break up with the guy. The last thing you want to do is have the young man feel he is unwelcome. It would be much worse if he was unwelcome because of his skin color. Black people can't be racist, my ass lol. Get them to watch that one Prince of Bel-Air episode about the tall person. Wow, you both are dealing with racist families, which is extremely disappointing. There's no need to bring your boyfriend around people who will disrespect him. Continuing this relationship will require you to put your foot down and potentially cut some family out of your life to protect your partner. You can't do that yet because you still need their support as a minor. That's a horrible revelation. You're likely not going to get your family to switch their views anytime soon. That will take years of work. My suggestion is to take time to see if this relationship is serious enough to go to war with your family and see if your family is open to conversations about the relationship. Your parents came from a worse time and is more likely reacting out of fear and anger from how they were treated in the past. It doesn't excuse their behavior but at least makes it understandable. It's important to point out that the being racist back part is hypocritical. Biracial person here. Their prejudice against a white person who hasn't done anything wrong is just as bad as any perceived racism they're expecting. Your parents may not be happy and may not like it, but it's not their life or relationship. As for your brother being into racial justice, that's fine and all. But being angry you're dating a white guy is the same as if you were white and dating a black guy. As for his family making those comments, they aren't any better than your family when you take race out of the conversation. And both sound prejudiced in one way or another. As for what to do, as long as you both are enjoying each other's company, they should come around in time. Fighting for equal rights means accepting that interracial relationships are going to happen. And if yours is good, keep fighting for it. Just give them a diet of information. If your parents try to withhold financial support to make you end the relationship, there isn't much you can do. Tell them about racism. Be yourselves and don't let other people's ignorance tarnish your shine. When the family acts bad, treat it with the disdain it deserves. Dad and brother don't have to accept the relationship, but they should respect you and not be jerks. Sit your family down and ask that they listen and not speak until you are done. Then just be honest about how you feel and ask them to either keep negative, racist thoughts to themselves or learn to accept it. NGL, your family sounds hella racist. My grandparents were similar when I introduced them to an ex that was Latina. It's hard to get people to change when hate stems from nothing. But the best advice I can give is just show your family that your boyfriend is human like them. No matter what color we are on the outside, we all bleed red. I am so sorry your family turned out not to be who you thought they were. One of my gifts is to be able to look at a situation and tell you the possible outcomes and ramifications. In the comments, it seems people have it down to 3 choices. Cut off your parents and choose your boyfriend. Or wait it out. Or break up with him. I'm going to tell you what I see about those options. 1. Break up with him. My least favorite option. If you choose this route, it would be the easier path for you both. But I see it as a missed opportunity to be more. To grow. It's like seeing the heroine in a love story lose, and for no good reason. I don't think you'd be proud of yourself years from now when you look back on it. You might even start wondering, what if? What if you had at least tried? What would have happened? We never wonder about losing the bad ones. But we will wonder about losing the good ones. 2. Cut off your parents and choose your boyfriend. Oof. That's a big ask. Especially for a new relationship. When you're still learning about each other. If you were established and in your 20s, I'd say go for it and F what they think. Cutting out your family is a very big step. I should know. I've done it. But I also wasn't dependent on them when I did. Unless you are sure you have a partner who is going to support you 100% and the relationship going forward. Think about this one. 3. Tough it out together. My favorite option. But this route requires 100% honesty between you. You said you told him your father was sick and that's why he didn't meet him. Don't do that. I'm a black man and have read plenty of stories like yours from the white person in the relationship. It's always agreed upon that you inform the other person exactly what's going on, giving them the choice to stick around or not. Lying to him will only hurt your relationship. Would you want your white boyfriend to hide the fact that his family despises you? It's not fair. My grandma Peach was white, and she fell in love with my grandpa, a dark-skinned black man sometime in her youth in the 60s. It caused an uproar on both sides. Let me tell you, people on his side hated it and her side. My grandpa had a great aunt whose parents were freed slaves. She hated white people. When my grandma Peach's parents threw her out for giving birth to a NGGER baby, she had nowhere to go. She ended up living with my grandpa's family and great aunt. The story is Aunt Valerie was pissed. She refused to share her house with a white woman after hearing all the stories about them and living through the aftermath of slavery. She would rather have died than share her home. She packed her bag, put on her hat, and sat in the kitchen, waiting for somebody to give her a ride to anywhere else. My grandma Peach brought in her baby, my auntie, and it is said, Aunt Valerie took one look at my pretty light-skinned aunt and took off her hat and stayed. The point of this story is that sometimes time and exposure are the only ways to remedy prejudice. Even my grandma's racist parents came around. And you should know my great-grandma Donovan absolutely adored us grandchildren. All black too. She was the sweetest and kindest old lady I ever met. And we shared a birthday. People do come around given time. But for that to happen, you and your boyfriend need to be on the same page. Tell him everything, how you feel, what you want, and then ask him what he wants. If he stays, this means you sticking up for him, especially if they say something disrespectful to his face. If he treats you well, remind your family of that, because at the end of the day, someone treating you well should be all that matters. Come on. Everyone knows black women aren't allowed to date interracially. They are restricted to only black men in the black community, loudly crying only black men can do that. Lol. Jokes aside, here's what you should do. Forget about their opinions. Simple. The old. It's okay for men to date outside their race but not women. I've noticed that pretty much every race has a healthy dose of this attitude. It's a group sense of ownership over the women that even many of the other women seem to participate in. Both families disapprove but the lovers persist? Modern day Romeo and Juliet. You should write a script and make big money, lol.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.